So guys, it's David here and it is currently day 410. I hope you guys are doing well and like always, are doing better than yesterday. So quitting drugs, guys, was perhaps one of the best choices I made in my life. Now obviously to not do them in the first place would be the best choice, but obviously I done them, so quitting drugs would be the second best. Now I say this because no matter what you do, right, gateway or not gateway, weed or perhaps meth, whatever you do, it is going to harm your life. You may not realize it. You may feel like you have control of your life when you're on drugs, but let me please warn you, you are not in control. When you are high, no matter from the flower or from the crystal or from the powder, no matter when you're high, you are not in control, which is why we enjoy it, because we are not ourselves. And I tend to realize this pretty late. I tend to realize that I was not in control until I tried meth. And obviously that was a really, really clear, right, line where you cross when you start to realize that you are not actually in control of your life. Like you are very obviously a whole different person. But anyways, my best decision I made was to quit drugs. Now, for my journey of relapsing and bouncing back and relapsing and saying that I won't touch it again, to touching it again, to laying off it for good, for what I had learned, guys, and this is perhaps a very important lesson, but sometimes the most important lessons we learn from our life experiences, we tend to not think that they can be relevant to what is going on in our present life. To give you guys an example, when I quit drugs, what really made me quit was the understanding, like the actual feeling, not to just know logically, but to actually feel that my life is going to be ruined forever if I don't stop. You see, guys, there's some difference between knowing what is right to do and feeling what is right to do. We all know what is the right thing to do. We all know logically what is right and wrong. But logic, for what I have learned, does not make us act right. Why? Because if we work on logic, then I would have known from the start to not do drugs. I would have known from the start to do the right thing and to be the good boy, right? But obviously, logic goes through the roof as our emotion takes control of our body. Because at the end of the day, guys, we are still emotional creatures, right? If we can communicate this emotion to our head, then it will cloud reason. Now, why is this important? Because when I actually felt that doing drugs was going to ruin my life, to actually see and experience that doing, every time I puff on it, every time I snort, I realized that I am perhaps either losing muscles, losing brain cells, losing my ability to talk, and just becoming like an absolute fiend, right? And just borrowing money and just doing dumb shit I later regret, hurting people, hurting myself. When I realized that I was actually fucking up my life, excuse my language, I realized that I had to stop. Because I felt that I was not going to become myself, right? Let's just throw away the word to become great, right? Not even to become great, to lose who I was. Now, I had to stop because I was going to lose myself. So to actually feel that, guys, to feel what it feels like to know what it is you're going to lose, that I cannot explain to you guys how it feels. Because to try and explain to you guys my feelings is trying to communicate to you guys logically. You have to feel it yourself. Now, why does this have importance? Coming back to what I said earlier, we fail to realize our important lessons we learn through our past experiences, and we fail to realize how that lesson has any relevance with our present life. And I don't feel that such distractions like watching TV is going to slow down my life. Although logically, I know that if I watch TV or that I watch Netflix or whatever, right, I am wasting my time. I am wasting my time. I am growing older. I am losing out on opportunities, and I'm losing out on my time to become rich, to help people, and to help myself. I logically know that I should not be doing it, even though I am not experiencing any physical change to my body, any physical and obvious harm to my body and mind. I know that none of this is imminent, but I know, right, my logical mind knows that it's not the thing I should be doing if I have this great dream and ambition to chase. And here is the difference between thinking logically and actually feeling that you are losing out on something important in life. You see, by watching or by distracting my mind by watching TV, I didn't feel that I was losing something in the moment. Unlike drugs, where I felt I was actually losing away my life if I keep on doing these habits, if I kept on doing these mistakes. I felt I was going to, die, right? So the difference between feeling and I guess what I failed to realize now, even now, is that I don't have this strong feeling to actually tell me, David, if you don't stop watching Netflix, if you don't stop watching any form of content that is irrelevant to your goals, then you are going to lose out on your time to become the person you want to become. I don't feel this, which is why I still have this immature battle, right? This immature battle to try and force myself to put away the remote, to force myself to cancel or perhaps even block myself from watching these streaming services. I lack the feeling, which is why I'm still relying on my willpower to make the change. And I say the most important lesson was neglected in my present troubles is because I am not working on how I could change my feeling. I am still trying to force myself. I'm still trying to force myself as if you're trying to feed your stubborn kid to eat greens because they don't think it's going to help them become stronger. When logically, we all know eating vegetables is going to boost our immune system because it has a bunch of nutritional rich vitamins. We all know that, but we don't feel like doing it because we don't feel like we are losing anything in the moment. So if you can change one thing in your life, I strongly suggest, and I suggest this to myself also, is to find out how you can make it feel like you are going to lose something by not doing it or by doing it. You have to understand, you have to try make that feeling so real as if you're losing something every time you are repeating your bad behaviors or every time you're trying to procrastinate on the task you want to be doing. If we know what we think is right, but we have trouble doing it, then it should also make you rethink the problem you are trying to solve. You are not trying to solve what you are doing, whether it is right or wrong. You are trying to understand how you can make yourself feel that when you are not doing what you're supposed to do, then you are actually losing out on something important in your life. I have to make this clear, not just to you guys, but to myself. And see, this is why it's so important, guys, to never treat your old experiences as different to the troubles you are experiencing today. Because if you are, then I urge you, you will have to repeat your mistakes twice, or perhaps many times over. You see, my addiction to drugs was nothing less similar to my addiction now to watch TV. It is nothing less similar. The only difference is that one is me getting high and the other one is my mind getting scrambled and ripped apart. There's nothing different. It is only the object or the thing that has changed. The lesson behind it is still the same. Find something that works and make sure that it actually feels like you are losing it. Test it out for yourself. It doesn't require any long time to do. If what you think is going to make you feel like you're losing something doesn't work in the moment, then perhaps you're not going to feel any different the next day, right? Keep on testing, and this is something I do believe I need to be doing too, because I can't, right? I physically can't rely on my willpower to stay away from such distraction, because I know it also failed in my attempt to quit my drug habits. So what makes me think that it will work now if I had experienced it, that it didn't work? And what did work and was so effortless, it required no effort whatsoever, was me actually feeling like my life is going to be short-lived, that I am going to hurt the people around me, I'm going to change physically and mentally if I didn't stop taking drugs. And that feeling was 100 times more real and convincing than me trying to force myself to say, David, no more, because you promised yourself like 100 times, so why not just try and use your words to beguile yourself again, because surely that worked last time. No, so why would I make the same mistake now? And I failed to understand this. I failed to understand one important lesson, guys. And that is our most important lesson learned in our past life, in our past experience, cannot be ignored through our present troubles, because they are intertwined. The lesson behind our challenges are almost pretty similar, but the lesson itself we are going to learn, the trouble we are facing, are merely disguised in something different. So don't neglect the lessons you have learned in life. Take your knowledge and wisdom into today so that you can be better and stronger. But first, try make something so real that you feel like you are losing something. I'll see you guys tomorrow.